The deal with Iran is by far the worst thing that has ever happened to the US dollar since Nixon has abandoned the gold standard. Suddenly, overnight, people across the globe has lost the trust in the dollar because the dollar was no longer backed by gold. And now we have just witnessed another historical moment when Donald Trump has signed a deal that is going to wipe out the value of the dollar overnight. And I know that some people will say that I'm trying to scare you, that I'm trying to fearmonger, but in reality, if you pay a very close attention to this deal, you'll realize that this literally has the potential to wipe out the value of the dollar over the next coming of days. This has really the potential to destroy the US dollar as the global reserve currency. So this is the news that we got, that the US and Iran has signed initial deal to end the war and ease the sanctions and open the strait as they start talking on the nuclear issue. Why is this deal so bad for the US? The United States has started this war to completely change the regime in Iran. Remember Donald Trump saying that nothing but unconditional surrender from Iran. But now here's what the deal includes. Iran is going to get a sanction relief. So over time, the United States will start removing the sanctions that it imposed on Iran over the last 47 years. Iran is also going to get back its frozen assets. These assets were frozen and they were the hands of the United States, so that if Iran is going to agree to the US terms, maybe slowly the US will be unfreezing these assets. But now part of this deal, Iran will get all of its assets from the United States. Iran will also be able to charge tolls over the Strait of Hormuz. If you go back to pre-war era, which was literally the February of this year, no one could possibly charge tolls, and nobody could even imagine that Iran will be charging tolls. But this deal says that over the first 60 days, no one can possibly charge any kind of tolls. After that, it's up to Iran if they want to charge tolls. Suddenly, this trade, where literally a fifth of all the global energy goes through, Iran will be able to charge tolls. But it's not just about the oil. These Arab-rich countries there in the Gulf that have so much oil, they're buying a lot of stuff. So everything that is supplied to these nations go through the Strait of Hormuz, which means that Iran suddenly will be making hundreds of billions of dollars annually just from this strait. And a $300 billion reconstruction fund will be created to rebuild Iran. Iran has lost a lot in this war, and Iran was not ready to settle for any kind of a peace negotiation unless the US is going to help rebuild Iran. Now, part of this deal, they will create this fund, and I don't know where the money is going to come from, but from somewhere, $300 billion is going to come, and that money will be invested in Iran. And most likely, this money is going to come from Arab-rich nations in the Gulf, such as Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, or the United Arab Emirates. Now, all these nations will be investing $300 billion in Iran. That is literally a humiliation for the US and a huge victory for Iran, even though that I don't like to say that. But here's the question, why would the US even sign such a bad deal? This deal is so bad that nobody could have ever imagined that this deal will be signed. That's why a ground invasion was inevitable, because this is the only deal you will get from Iran. Either sign it, and signing it is a humiliation, which means that guarantees the ground invasion. But if you're not going to go with the ground invasion, suddenly you're signing this deal, which is a catastrophe. So here's what Donald Trump says. According to Donald Trump, why he signed this deal is that if the deal was not made, the strait would not open and the markets would have crushed.
If we didn't do this deal, we could have dropped more bombs for another 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 years. You would never have the Hormuz Strait open. You would never have success. Your market would have, instead of going up at levels that nobody's ever seen before, would go down at levels that nobody ever saw before, maybe except for 1929 or whatever.
That is literally Donald Trump is saying that if we did not make this deal, the Strait of Hormuz would not be open and the economy would start collapsing. And he's absolutely right, because opening the strait without sending ground troops is impossible. And that's the first thing that I told you when this war has started. And that's why I was so confident that without a ground invasion, ending this war is entirely impossible. But we got the kind of a surprise from Donald Trump that nobody could have imagined. The second reason, according to Donald Trump, I did not want to see economic catastrophe.
I think they see a different way of life that they were never exposed to. So the one thing I didn't want to see is I didn't want to see economic catastrophe. If you kept this going, that could have happened.
Trump is like, I made this deal because I did not want to see any kind of economic catastrophe. And that's what I told you, that if this war is going to continue and the United States will not open the strait, it is going to create an economic catastrophe. And many people in the comment section said that you're just fearmongering, you were just so pessimistic about it. I was not pessimistic. I simply look at the data and I told you and I showed you the data. Look at this data. This is how much the United States is depleting its strategic oil reserves. And by March of next year, all the strategic oil reserves will end. And that means that suddenly there is a huge shortage of oil in the market. The entire economy would have stopped. The AI revolution would have stopped. Guess what you need for these data centers to function? You need a lot of energy. And if there is a serious shortage of energy in the market, that means that not only that you have the shortage for the AI data centers, but remember, the military itself needs a lot of energy. But for the European Union, it was even worse, because by literally November of this year, they would run out of their strategic oil reserves, which means that the entire European Union, which is the closest ally to the United States, especially economically, they would have fallen into a depression. And there is one country that was not depleting its strategic oil reserves. And the name of that country is China. So here is Donald Trump literally justifying his peace deal with Iran, that the reason we accepted this really bad terms is because we would have ended in economic catastrophe. And the third reason, Donald Trump literally says that we would run out of oil reserves in 4 to 5 weeks.
$500, $600, $700 million a day. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. That's why the world is okay. It's liquid. It's fine. Also, we run out of reserves in about 4 weeks. You know, there are reserves all over the world, and we would really run.
So he was talking about the oil reserves, the strategic oil reserves. And here's he literally confirming. So what I told you a few weeks ago or a month ago, and I told you that multiple times, here you go. This was not fearmongering. This was literally the facts that I showed you. The problem with this war is that this war is located in such a place that they're one of the most important straits in the world that is responsible for a fifth of the global energy. And Iran had or built the capability to close that strait. And suddenly you're left with an option. And you're going to deploy hundreds of thousands of troops to Iran, and you're going to start this ground invasion. And I have no doubt that if the United States would have deployed so many troops to Iran, the US would be able to open the Strait of Hormuz. But here's the problem, is that the cost of this invasion was so catastrophically huge that the United States decided that we're not going to take this risk. We're not going to pay for this. So the United States had to back down in order to avoid a global catastrophe. And this really reminds me of the Suez crisis back in 1956. There are a lot of similarities between that crisis and today's crisis. But instead of the United States, back in the days, it was the United Kingdom. Israel, alongside the UK, decided that they're going to invade Egypt because the new president of Egypt decided that they're going to nationalize the Suez Canal. Suez Canal is as important, if not more important, than the Strait of Hormuz. So Israel starts the invasion of Egypt, and suddenly the UK jumps in and they also invade Egypt. But Egypt had a completely different strategy. They basically blocked the Suez Canal. That meant that not a single ship could possibly pass through that place. And that means that suddenly all of these oil tankers from the Middle East and the rest of the world could not pass through there, and they could not hit the international markets. Suddenly, oil prices started rising all across the globe. That made global trade extremely difficult, and the price of global trade rose significantly really high. And that was also an energy problem, because a lot of that energy had to flow through the Suez Canal. And nobody liked that invasion. Everybody started pressuring the UK to back off because they could not securely and successfully invade Egypt and literally take control of that canal, especially the US. The United States was not informed that this invasion is going to take place, and it was literally hurting the United States. So the US and the rest of the world pressured the United Kingdom, so the UK had to abandon the Middle East, they had to abandon the Suez Canal, and they had to accept terms that were not favorable to the UK. But here's what I want you to pay attention to. I want you to look to what happened to the British pound as the global reserve currency right after that. In 1965, more than 25% of the global reserve currencies were the British pound, because at that point, the British pound was still the empire that ruled the world to a certain extent. It was not that far after 1945, though it had a lot of credibility. But the moment the world realized that the British Empire started a war against such a weak nation compared to the British Empire, and they could not win that war, and the UK had to accept really, really bad terms, guess what happened? All nations across the globe, they started dumping their British pounds, and suddenly, in a matter of 10 to 15 years, the British pound literally lost most of its global reserve currency status. It went from 26% to as low as 2%. This was the moment that broke the British pound as the global reserve currency. And it seems like this is the exact same moment that the United States is facing right now. The US starts the war, the US demands unconditional surrender from Iran, and then the United States causes a global shortage of oil and prices skyrocket. When the US is unable to solve this problem, the United States backs down. It's almost exactly as what happened back in 1956. The world learned a very important lesson, that the United States no longer can enforce the US world order. Since 1945, there was a world order established by the United States and enforced by the United States. So any nation that would go against the United States will pay a very heavy price. If China will invade Taiwan, they will pay a very expensive price. If Russia invades whatever country, then Russia will pay an expensive price. If the UK will invade Egypt without the permission of the United States, then that's the price the UK pay, and the UK has perfectly paid that price. But in this case, Iran made it very clear to the rest of the world that the United States is no longer in that position to enforce that world order, which means that any nation can do whatever they want, and the United States is no longer the country that can reinforce the US world order. And when the US world order collapses, suddenly the US dollar is no longer as powerful as it was in the past, because now people will start having doubts. The US is no longer can swallow the cost of the war, just like it did with Iraq and Afghanistan. These two wars were catastrophic, they were absolutely useless, but the United States simply proved to the rest of the world that if you go against us, we can raise trillions of dollars, send as many troops as we want. We might not win this war, but we will turn your country into such a disaster. But in this case, I posted the video showing you how much it's going to cost for the US to start this war. And it would be so much that it will break the United States, because the United States is not in a position to borrow more money. If the US would do that, suddenly the yields on the US treasuries would rise so much that it will be extremely unsustainable. And this is the math that the White House has done and realized that we no longer can afford that. Now, it doesn't mean that countries tomorrow will start dumping the US dollar as the global reserve currency, because this crisis is not at the exact same level as the crisis of 1956. It is very similar, but at slightly smaller scale. It just means that this was the turning point where the world will start moving much faster to multi-reserve currencies from now onwards, because the world realized that the US does not have the capacity to stand up to the wars that it starts. And that means that the dollar will start losing more of its value. Yields will start rising much faster. Global inflation will start rising even faster. So everybody that is not investing, that is not growing his money, will find himself losing a lot in this economy. This economy is built in such a way that the dollar consistently loses its value. But during these kind of crises, it loses even more of its value. That's why it has never been as important as it's today to start investing and putting your money to work. You have to master the skill of turning money into more money. And the best way to do that is to go to the stock market and buy the right assets. And the way you do that is finding valuation of the stocks. When you buy the stocks at a lower valuation than the real price, then you will just wait for some time and the price will jump back to its true valuations. And congratulations, you have turned money into more money. Here's the question: what are the best stocks to buy right now? Well, you can find that out by joining the Investing Academy. And the first 50 people who will use the link in the description of this video will join the Investing Academy completely for free. So hurry up and use the link in the description.